This is the Perfect Being. I'm here to tell you all to subscribe to the perfect channel, UnrealEntGaming. Please remember to turn on your notifications to be the first to know about the latest in Dragon Ball news and information. And if you don't, very soon you will all be dead, along with your entire planet.
Universe 9 has been the first universe to be erased in the Omni King's Tournament of Power as the battle for survival continues, as Krillin's moment of glory is displayed in having Krillin not only having to overcome his fears within the tournament-like setting, but also sticking up for his wife Android 18, who also seems to be struggling against Universe 4 as Krillin teams with her in order to further their chances in surviving in the Tournament of Power. What's going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super episode 99 review entitled Show Them Krillin's True Power, leading into next week's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Super episode 100, which is going to be focusing more on Kale, Khalifa, and Universe 6, and showcasing Kale having to finally transform into her Super Saiyan Berserker-like state, and just seeing more or less what Kale's going to be doing in the upcoming episode. But a quick plug before we begin: if you guys are new to this channel, be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button for more news, information, updates, and of course discussions alongside gameplay reviews for all forms of Dragon Ball content. And make sure to also go on ahead and punch that bell icon, that way you guys are always notified whenever a Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel, as I will be covering various Dragon Ball topics throughout the coming weeks. And of course, if you guys are not following me at Twitter, be sure to go on ahead and head over to Twitter and follow me at UnrealEntGaming to be up to date with all that is in Dragon Ball news, information, and updates. And I thank you guys for your overwhelming support on the channel, as it does go a long way. So if you guys are new, be sure to go on ahead, turn on notifications, hashtag notification squad, to be up to date with all that is in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Super episode 99 is now officially in the history books as we move on forward within the Tournament of Power, as now we have an entire episode dedicated to not only Krillin, but also in essence Android 18, as we see their development progress in the Tournament of Power. As of course, which correlates to this, we start the episode off exactly where we left off, with everyone having to be literally shocked on the idea that Universe 9 is now gone, and we see each respective universe, especially universe number 11. If you guys really pause it during that scene, we see Dispo in the background with his giant buck teeth, and he seems to be very shocked, and even Vegeta asks as to what the hell just happened, with Goku having to remind Vegeta about the premise of the overall tournament and surviving, that way they can overall secure their position and their universe from being destroyed. And even after that, we see how Vegeta vows to be the last man standing, but there's something definitely up with the angels, as we see certain shots of Champa having to bark orders, and we get to see Vados's eye, and she looks very, very malicious in an essence, because we get to also see how Vados says, "Oh well, farewell Lord Champa," and Champa is not pleased on the idea that if his universe goes, he's gonna be destroyed, because it looks like Vados doesn't even care. So honestly guys, it looks like the angel theory just may be coming into fruition, because we saw more signs of angels here not really caring about their gods, not caring about their overall, universe and stuff. But we also get to see Frieza, in which Frieza is very manipulative in pointing out the gap between the Omni Kings, as Frieza does seem to have an eye on the Omni Kings. And of course, in this episode, we get to see a little bit of interaction between artificial human number 17 and 18 as they're standing together. And we also get to see how 17 tells 18 that since they've got infinite energy, which has now been confirmed, I mean, in case you guys have not noticed already, that they do have an overall advantage in a fight setting like this, which ultimately means that they won't tire out. And we also get to see one of my favorite moments as we see Vegeta picks out Hit as his opponent, in which indefinitely means at some given point Vegeta does want to brawl with Hit, in which case we already know it's coming, but we don't know as to the end result, as to what's going to happen between Vegeta and Hit in their rematch. And then we also get to see how the timer in the middle, that giant pole, begins to descend, which means time is running out. So I just personally love the overall sequence of Boltamo and Hit walking in Goku and Vegeta's direction. So earlier on, I broke the leaks of Vegeta and Goku having to speak to each other, and it looks like Vegeta has his eyes on Hit as he turned into a Super Saiyan and rushed towards Hit direction. And then right then and there, Boltamo gets in the way, and Boltamo tanks the shot from Vegeta and telling Vegeta that your attacks can't do anything to me, in which Vegeta does almost the same thing as Goku did during the Universe 6 tournament in tying up Boltamo's arms, and then Vegeta Vegeta picked him up, and ironically enough, Vegeta is walking with Botamo over his head. Champa is freaking out, and I love this so much because, I'm sorry, as strong as Botamo is, as cunning as Botamo's agility is, and the ability of, you know, everything Botamo has to offer, we see how he almost got ringed out, and he's chewing on his arms, he's trying to get free, and then finally Gogeta makes the save. So now Vegeta is up against Gogeta and Botamo, but he doesn't seem to be concerned, as we also get to see the fodder universe, universe number 4. We see one of the characters in pursuit of Krillin as Gohan steps in the way, and he completely obliterates one of the giant, you know, bird-like's attack as he shoots down a blast towards Krillin, and Gohan having to block that. So again, having to see teamwork come from this specific group, I think, was best suited, as we have a torn group. We have 17, 18, Frieza, Goku, and Vegeta that are doing their own thing, and we have Krillin, Piccolo, Tien, we have Gohan, and of course we have Ten Shinhan, who are all in the middle, you know, pretty much trying to secure each other and their positions. And then we see how, you know, Krillin launches a plethora of Destructo discs, which ultimately catch one of the Universe 10 creatures off guard and eliminating him. So the giant bird that we saw last week was actually the second person to get eliminated in Universe 10's roster. So then we get to see more of an exchange from Champa and you know, Beerus and stuff. And I think more notably enough, we see how Vegeta has his back up against the wall, as now he's fighting Botamo, who climbs up on top of Gogeta, and Beerus is freaking out because we get to see right then and there how Vegeta begins to insult Gogeta, but Champa brags that Gogeta has conquered the ability of having to, you know, take emotional damage just by simple words. And we also get to see how Whis is taking pleasure on seeing Vegeta kind of have his back against the wall. We see how android number 18 is fighting this green wolf-like dog creature, I'm assuming from universe number 4, but either way she seems to have the advantage. She's kicking him around, and honestly guys, this actually sets up for so much in next week's episode, as in the beginning, as I said, there was lots of tension as to what happened, you know, involving the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings having to destroy the universe, but also in this episode, there is a heavy focus on the angels, and you guys really have to pay close attention to visuals from Vados, to visuals from Whis, to visuals from the Grand Priest. There is so much emphasis on the angels, and the angels not really caring. And going back to android number 18, we see how the green wolf-like creature she was fighting gets up, and he begins to shoot out a barrage of attacks, and 18 is getting pushed back. And just as she's getting pushed back, Krillin comes out of nowhere, flies, mind you, grabs 18 and throws her back in the ring. So right then and there, Krillin made the ultimate sacrifice, and not just breaking the rules, because, I mean, everyone was shook on the idea that Krillin literally had to fly on over to grab her, because that's essentially what he did. I mean, that's clear flight, so that's breaking the rules, and everyone else was relieved on 18 not being ringed out, because she was about to get ringed out if it were not for the help of Krillin, in which, as we go back, 18 vows revenge on the wolf-like creature, as the wolf guy says she better give up now before he spoils her good looks. And even as, of course, you're watching this, you can't help but wonder, there is some sort of ominous presence going on in the background. I can't seem to put my finger on it, but again, I'm assuming this has something to do with the angels, because early on in the beginning, as I said before, there was a heavy focus on them, but as we transition to Krillin and 18, we see how Krillin and android 18 are fighting this one green wolf by themselves, and it's a really intense battle. Obviously enough, if 17 was there, you know, he would provide better support, I think, as he is obviously stronger than Krillin. But then we see how Krillin and 18 are exchanging this pinkish-like purple blast back and forth, and this wolf seems to be distracted because their teamwork, you know, caught him off guard, in which resulted in him actually getting hit by the blast, in which again throws him out of the ring. So I thought that was really good teamwork to see husband and wife actually work together in trying to throw each individual out. And even to that extent, we get to see how the other fighters are also having a difficult time. The Omni Kings are having the time of their lives, and Beerus is like tugging on, you know, the Elder Kai's hair. He's tugging on his hair. Catella's pissed off because that was actually Catella's fighter, and the Omni Kings are looking at their pad. They're focusing more or less on the pad and trying to figure out who got eliminated and what the heck is going on. And then, just as Krillin is celebrating, we see this other green-like cat rabbit character come in, and he kicks Krillin down onto the ground. And again, this this episode primarily focused on the basis of teamwork between husband and wife. And even to that extent, Beerus is throwing a shit fit. I mean, all the gods at this very point are more aggravated now than ever before because they realize, like, oh man, we're in deep trouble, because at this very point, if we don't do what needs to be done, we're gonna get foddered. And then we see how Krillin hands Android 18 sunglasses, in which Master Roshi quickly points out that Krillin is gonna do it, in which he does. He does the solar flare times 100, but it doesn't work against the fox because he goes by smell. He doesn't go by vision. So that was actually Krillin's downfall. And also what I didn't like about this is how the fox was able to take down android number 18. So I guess you can say he's kind of blind because he can't really see in essence. He goes by smell. So Krillin's, 100 times solar flare attack didn't really do him any justice, as later on, Krillin still thinks that he can win, but he also says, I won't know until I try, and he tells 18 to leave it to him, that he has a strategy, in which, in my opinion, as we see this fox-like character fight Krillin, you have to give props to the fox for actually keeping up with Krillin. But do you want to know what Krillin's stupid ass strategy was? He took his shoe, in which probably smelled like a rhinoceros's dick, and he threw it at the fox, right? So the minute that happened, that caused the fox to pretty much lose his smell senses. He wasn't able to figure out where Krillin was. So it's confirmed, man. Krillin's feet smell like shit, in which after he throws the shoe and it hits the, the fox dude's nose, Krillin uses the Kamehameha and he pushes the dude right out of the ring, in which results in another one of Catella's fighters having to be eliminated. And then at that given point, Krillin is so happy for his win that we see how Frost catches him off guard, and we see how he runs off before 18 can grab him, and which I personally loved because this goes back to ultimately the Namek saga, in which Frieza had beat the crap out of Krillin before. So I loved how, he just tail whips him, but Krillin actually manages to actually do something here, in which we see once he gets tail whipped, 18 comes after him and Frost gets away. And I love how Frost was presented because he kind of like shoots the ground beneath him and he just disappears on some Houdini shit. So either way, we see how Frost was the one responsible, in which I think is suitable. Frost was the one responsible for throwing Krillin out, as I do think this was a heavy reference going back to the original Namek story with Frieza and Krillin. And in case you're wondering, Beerus wasn't obviously happy, but we have 43 minutes left until the Tournament of Power is over. As I told you guys this before, we saw how the poll began to sink lower, and it is confirmed that going forward, we have 43 minutes remaining. But I would like to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your overall thoughts and pertains to this episode? What are your overall thoughts on seeing Frost's interaction? What are your overall thoughts on seeing tension between Goku and Vegeta? And what are your overall thoughts on Krillin having to display his power ultimately just to have him get foddered and having him be the first to be eliminated? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button for more news, information, and updates, and be sure to go on ahead and smash that bell icon. That way you guys can be notified whenever I post a video onto the channel. Hashtag notification squad if you guys enjoyed it. Slap a like on the video. Tune back in for more. Finally, we have 100 episodes of Dragon Ball Super debuting next week with Dragon Ball Super episode 100, in which the preview in and of itself was absolutely crazy. So if you guys want to go on ahead and watch Dragon Ball Super, visit crunchyroll.com. They have the official episode with subtitles up. If you guys actually have, an account with them, you guys can watch it in 1080p quality. And of course, they always premiere exactly 40 minutes after the episode airs. So thank you all for watching, guys. Once again, tune back in for more. Tune back in for the breakdown review, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down in the comment section below. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.